The Vera Retirement Show. The Vera Retirement Show. The Vera Retirement Show. The Vera Retirement Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Retirement Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Louise Janes, CEO of the Golden Wizard Book Prize, says, "The Bella Santini Chronicles are life-changing masterpieces. They will empower children and allow them to understand themselves and the world in new ways. I strongly encourage all parents to get the Bella Santini Chronicles." Discover the transformative power of the Bella Santini Chronicles for your family. This enchanting series is more than just a collection of fantasy stories. It's a gateway to deep, meaningful connections and life-changing lessons. As you journey together through Bella's adventures, you'll unlock conversations about courage, emotional intelligence, and self-discovery. Create unforgettable memories and inspire personal growth for every member of the family. Don't miss out on this magical experience.
Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited to have the author of Bella Santini Chronicles. And she is the producer of Children's Lives Matter, which I am a co-host for. But before I do all that, let me just share a little bit more about my guest, Angele Legh. She is best known as the author of her children's fantasy book series, The Bella Santini Chronicles, as well as the writer, director, producer of the television show, Children's Lives Matter. For over 50 years, Angela experienced abuse, bullying, and belittlement. And through that exposure, she developed emotional management methods that are shared via her books and her show. Angela has been featured in USA Today. She is a syndicated Los Angeles Tribune newspaper and magazine columnist. And she is my friend. And I am just excited that you are here.
Thank you.
I am going to give you the floor because today we're talking about emotional intelligence and we're looking at things through the eyes of a child. And so I'm excited that we're doing this in this way. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Okay. So Vera asked me to bring to you the history, my background. I had an alcoholic father who was raging, and he was the monster in my house. I didn't see him as a father. I saw him as a monster. He abused us. He emotionally abused us. One of my earliest memories is when he had a knife in his hand. My mother was asleep on the couch, and he took that knife and held it to her throat. He did that to cause fear in his children. He wasn't trying to intimidate her because she was asleep. And that is the kind of father that I dealt with. When we talk about through the eyes of a child, one of the tools that I teach people is to, when they are triggered by the behavior of someone or the words of someone, to think back to when did that start? So for me, everything that ever triggered me started with my father. And I am able, through a form of timeline therapy, I am able to place my adult self into the picture of my father screaming at the child me. And with my adult eyes, I can see what's really happening. It is a drunk and raging man taking his problems out on an innocent little girl. I can then pick up that little girl me and whisper in her ear the truth of what's happening. And this can apply to anyone who ever had a parent who treated them poorly. You can look at the situation. What are the filters and perspectives that that person is bringing to the situation? And how can you then rewrite that narrative?
And you know what's so interesting is, as a child, we don't think about, well, why is he doing this to me? You may have thought that, but didn't understand.
No, you don't. It's as a small child, your parents are the authority in your life. And so you believe what comes out of their mouth. You think they
Yes.
know everything. And that's what I call the parenting pedestal, that through the eyes of a child, the parent is raised up and the authority, the know-it-all in the family.
Yes. So as a child,
Mm-hmm.
experiencing those things,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of emotions
Mm.
you experience? Especially, let's talk about the day that he put that knife to your mom's neck. I can only imagine
The
how
fear.
the fear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you have other siblings?
Yeah, I had 3 sisters, and my older sister was the one who always had to save us. And so she ended up, on that day, she called the police, and they came and stopped my father. So it did turn out to be okay in the long run. My mom's still with us, which is good.
Praise God. Yes, that's
Yeah.
a good thing. That's a good thing. Now, so did you and your siblings, did you guys talk about your experiences?
No.
Not even as an adult, not even as adults?
So a lot of the things I talk about are repressed emotions. And sometimes when awful things happen to you as a child, you repress it because you have no tools for dealing with it. So it gets stuffed down deep, deep, deep. And you can't even, I can't even remember half of what my father did. And occasionally my sisters and I will talk about it, and one of them will remind me of one of his circumstances, I guess I'll call it, one of the events that happened in our life. But for the most part, and I've done a lot of study on this. If you've ever read The Drama of the Gifted Child or The Body Never Lies by Dr. Alice Miller, you will learn that there is no true way to repress emotions. What happens is that the emotions either pop out, and when triggered, you attack someone else for their behavior, or they go inward and your body attacks itself. And
Let's talk about that. Your
Yeah.
body attacks itself.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, the illnesses that people are experiencing
have a
stomach
basis.
problems, headaches,
Oh, yeah.
heart conditions. All those things can be a direct result of suppressing
Yes.
harmful experiences.
Yes. And it's like, as a child, you don't know what else to do. So I don't want anyone to say, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. First of all, yeah, let's be clear. Do not beat yourself up if you've experienced what we're talking about today.
Mhm.
When we know better, we do better. But until we know better, then you can't beat yourself up, and you can't take on being responsible for how your parents may have treated you. Now, let me ask you, Angela, did you ever find out about your dad's upbringing?
This is really interesting because, I didn't grow up thinking about generational trauma or any of that.
Right.
But one day I was talking to his sister, my aunt, and she said, "Oh, poor Jimmy, he was such a sensitive child." And my mind is like, the record sound. My mind went, and I was like, my dad was sensitive? No. Not that man.
Right.
But then on retrospect, I thought about what would happen to a sensitive child born in 1924, a boy. He was rejected by his parents because he was sensitive. He learned from his parents that drinking alcohol was the way to deal with painful emotions, so that's what he did. And it's all in like the modeling of what kind of behavior we give our kids.
Yes.
And I think my biggest regret with my kids is that I modeled emotional repression because I didn't know about it then.
And
But
you
I
can't
beat
yeah,
myself up for it.
no, you can't, because now you know.
But now I know, and I am modeling emotional expression for them.
So not being able to exhibit that emotional intelligence because you didn't know
Mhm.
as you were raising your children, how did that impact your kids?
Well, I think for my kids, it's like they don't really understand what I'm doing now because they weren't raised necessarily to understand emotional expression. And so, they're slowly coming around and figuring it out. But for the most part, you know, the basics of what I teach is that emotions are meant to be expressed, and society tells us to repress them. So we need to stand up to society and say, no, this is my energy and I get to express it. And then understand that there's positive expression of emotions and negative expression of emotions. So the measure that I give people is, does it hurt you, your family, or humanity? So if the way you choose to respond emotionally to an event, if it hurts you or your family or humanity, it is a negative expression of the emotion. So when we think of using drugs, using alcohol, self-harming, all of these ways that people have taken on as ways to deal with emotion, those are all negative expressions.
Yes. Well, let's define emotional intelligence so
Mhm.
that people can grasp what we're talking about. So, and I'm going to put the definition in the chat.
Okay.
So go emotional intelligence. You want to tell us, and we'll talk about it. Emotional intelligence.
Yeah. So I have my own version of what emotional intelligence is, and it may not meet with, other people's, but what I say is emotional intelligence is understanding your responses to the world around you and the circumstances around you, and understanding that you have the ability to choose a way to respond that isn't harmful.
Yes. And in addition to that definition, also with emotional intelligence, you understand your emotions, but you also have empathy to begin to understand the emotions or why people may be relating, reacting, or responding the way that they are, instead of jumping to conclusions about the
About them.
situation.
Right. Thank you, Vera. That was very good.
You're welcome. Okay. So the emotional intelligence is understanding. That's as far as I got. So go ahead, finish.
It is being aware of your own emotions and being aware of your emotional triggers.
Yes.
And then choosing how you will respond as opposed to react.
Yes. And choosing, that's the key.
That is the key.
Choosing.
Because no one told us, no one ever taught us how to deal with emotions. Here we are, we're all human. Every person in this world has emotions.
Yes.
No one said, hey, those people who tell you to only feel the positive emotions, they're telling you to emotional repression.
Yes.
And oh, look, we have a comment.
Yeah, we do have a comment, and I'm getting ready. In fact, she was my guest last Thursday. Hello, Nadine. I'm glad you're here. She says, if hate is an emotion, I will never understand hate.
And hate is based in fear. So when people fear things, they try and push them away. And hate is truly based in fear. So when we can narrow it down to that basic level, then we can more understand the person who is stepping out into the world in hate. And this was a huge lesson for me because I remember one time I had a spiritual leader asking me about my books and saying, well, are you saying that we have to accept what Hitler did and love Hitler to make everything better? And
Ooh.
and I know that's one of those really hard questions.
Yes.
But with hate, yes, love is the answer in order to cause it to dissipate. But with this question, on this day, I had listened to a podcast host's story of being attacked by a man and almost raped by him. And my husband wanted to watch Catch 22 and it was like too many inputs. I had this Hitler question and I had all these things, and I went to bed. I'm like, because in my books, I teach children that the world is a mirror for us to show us our internal wounding. And so when we're reactive to something, that's showing us that we have an internal wound that we need to heal. And so I went to bed and I was like, how can it be? Did 6 million people have internal wounding? I woke up and I knew the intolerance, man's intolerance or inhumanity to man is based on the doer's internal wounding, because that is that repressed emotion being projected out into the world. So Hitler was actually, he had 6 million people mirroring to him his internal wounding, and he chose to cut them down.
Okay, so my question is, it's really hard to love those who despitefully use you, who hate you, who show their hate for you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, and I'm asking this question in twofold. One, as an adult, how do you deal with that? And two, how do you articulate that to children, and how do you get them to understand?
The easiest way for me to articulate it is that hurt people hurt people.
Hurt people, yes.
And that is a real truth. And the answer is not to hurt them back, because that just increases the level of pain and hurt in the world, but to send love. Because what that does is gives them the opportunity to choose love.
But what if they don't choose love?
That's their issue. It's not our responsibility to change anyone or make them. But when we plant the seed or give an opportunity for them, we've fulfilled our mission in that situation.
Good answer. Good answer. All right. So I'm going to go to a commercial, and then we're going to come back and we're going to showcase these books and continue this conversation about emotional intelligence and looking at it from a child's perspective.
Yeah.
So we will be right back. Let me see. Okay.
In a world where authenticity is the key, unlock your brand's potential with ADM's game-changing marketing solutions. We craft striking logos that embody your brand's spirit and build websites that captivate and convert. Our lead generation strategies are tailored to your needs, driving growth and boosting your bottom line. And our content, well, it's not just content. It's a narrative, a story that connects and resonates with your audience. But here at ADM, we're about more than just exceptional services. We're about authenticity, about staying true to who you are and what you stand for, because realness, that's what makes a brand unforgettable. So if you're ready to elevate your brand with authenticity and excellence, follow this page. Dive deeper into the world of divine marketing and become part of our community. Because at ADM, we're not just about making brands, we're about making brands matter.
ADM, Authentic Divine Marketing, Ariel, Chime. If you want marketing that's going to show your authenticity, that is going to be created out of love, then you want to check out Ariel, Chime, Authentic Divine Marketing, and you can find her at bit.ly/Divine Chime. So check her out and tell her that you heard it on the Vera Thomas Show. All right. Now, I am going to put her information in the comments so that people can, in fact, be in touch with her. And then we're going to pull up some of your books here. Yes. Now, I know your first book, and let me do this the right way. Your first book was Bella Santini, and you want to tell us about Bella.
So Bella is a 14-year-old girl who is considered normal. She average. She doesn't stand out in any way other than she loves art, and art is a way for her to emotionally express. She ends up in the forest with her parents and goes into the forest on her own in the nighttime.
Ooh.
She finds what happens to be a fairy ceremony in a meadow, but the leader of the fairies spies her and confronts her for intruding on the ceremony. She's arrested and brought to the Fey land.
Wow.
So Bella has to deal with, losing her parents, being in a strange land that she doesn't know anybody, and she doesn't know how to behave. What is the standards of that society?
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
my.
Um, yeah, and in this first book, she ends up sprouting wings. So
Ooh.
by the end of the second book, we know that she is a fairy that had been left in the human world for her safety.
Oh, wow. And so she goes through a myriad of emotions that
She
she
does.
has to learn how to control herself.
And not only that, but I think it's chapter 9 or 10 of this book, one of her adventures takes her to another dimension that is populated by emotions. And she has to figure out how to get through sadness and anger and all these other emotions. So it's truly that chapter gives lots of tools for dealing with emotions.
That's awesome. And so these books are not only a story, but they include tips and things that children can do to be more in control of their emotions. And then this one
is called Princess Bella. So we learn that by the third book, she is actually the crown princess of the Fey world. When she was a baby, her evil aunt, Jinnikai, had tried to murder her. And so her mother chose to place her in a human family. And Bella had to come to terms with being abandoned as a baby by her family, and then learning that she had this family. And it's kind of an allegory for an adopted child, and understanding that in Bella's case, her mother had to make a very difficult choice to let go of her for her safety. And that is often the choice that an adoptive, a mother giving her child up for adoption, most often it is making a choice for the child's safety or betterment.
Wow, beautiful. And then we have this.
The Troll War. Yeah. This was the book that brought up that question about Hitler.
Oh, really?
Having your enemies. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Because in this war, the fairies do win the battle by the application of love.
Okay. So give us, and this is also absolutely necessary for our society. What tips can you give? And I'm going to come back to these awards and other things that you've won, but what tips can you give to help children and adults get past how other people treat us? And I realize we don't have any control over how other people relate, react, and respond. but we do have control over how we relate, react, and respond.
Yep.
So in dealing with all this negativity and how other people may be treating us, what, and you say, show love.
And that can be really hard for, like, you know that on Children's Lives Matter, we did a show on raising Black boys.
Yeah.
And that was all about white privilege and people not understanding what the parents of Black boys went through in order to keep their kids safe. And how, me as a mom of a 16-year-old boy, I never had to consider whether he would be stopped by police, how he should behave when he was stopped by police, or all of these things. And there are huge amounts of generational trauma that weighs down on different areas of society. And so, with the Jewish culture, there's generational trauma associated with Hitler and the war. And with the Black people, there's generational trauma associated with slavery and all
Jim Crow
and all of these horrible things that happened. And with the Indian people, there's trauma about the way the white people took their land away and pushed them off their land into and tried to change their traditions. And so overarching all of these things that are happening in the world is this trauma that affects us, even if we're not fully aware of it. And so it can be really hard to step out of that victim cycle, but understanding that when you are seeing yourself as a victim, you're putting yourself in a place of no power. Anytime you point the finger at someone else in blame, you are giving your power away and making all the power with the person you're blaming.
Yes.
So understanding that helps you to shift how you see the whole situation, because the way to get out of victimhood is to take responsibility for how you act. So when you're triggered and reactive, you're probably not going to step out of victim mentality because you're in that space right then and there. And you can just give yourself grace and say, okay, I did that, but maybe next time I'll do better.
Yes, because this journey, it's an ongoing process. We talk about showing love and not taking on the negatives that the other people may be directing towards us.
Understanding that we don't see the world as it is, we see it as we are. And
I like that.
That is informative about us, but when we extend it to the people who criticized us, all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, my father, oh yeah, he was an alcoholic. Why would I believe anything he said?
But as a child,
through the eyes of a child, oh yes, he was the authority, and I had to believe what he said.
So
and one of the decisions I made as a child was to not get angry, because I didn't want to be like my father. So I learned to repress anger at a very young age.
And how did it come out otherwise? So if you repressed it, there had to be some other manifestation.
Well, there were a lot of manifestations.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be triggered by someone's behavior and lash out at them. And that is a way of releasing that emotion. It's a negative way of releasing that emotion. But also my body did attack. I had tumors that had to be removed.
Wow.
I still to this day, I have hay fever, and I keep saying I should be able to heal that by now because I've done all the work. But
Yes.
yeah, it's a little bit down the road, I think.
Yes. So your journey into I'm sorry, you were going to say something
Oh,
else.
I was just gonna say that hay fever is nothing more than your body saying the world isn't safe.
People don't understand the connection between our emotions and our health.
Mhm.
And I am convinced that people that have all this hate, they've got all kinds of health issues as well. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, when did your transformation occur? And what was that process like?
I would say that the biggest transformation occurred when my house burned down in the 2017 Tubbs wildfire. I had been in an emotionally abusive marriage for 32 years, and I stayed because I believed that everybody deserves love. What I didn't realize is that in making that decision, I was not giving myself love. And when you talked about hate, people who hate lack self love. Because if you love yourself, you can't hate someone else. Oh, you're muted, Vera.
Even scripture says, love thy neighbor as thyself. And you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself.
Love yourself. Absolutely. So for me, it was the realization that the wildfire brought me. I was like, I had this question, is this the life I want to live for the rest of my life? I was so miserable. The answer was no. So I started changing.
Yes, that's beautiful. And I know you're in a beautiful marriage right now. And but let me ask you, you stayed in this marriage for 32 years. How did that impact your children?
Yeah. My children suffered from it. When I don't want to point any fingers or
Right. I understand.
cause anyone to, but there were things that happened that I should have left. I should have. And I thought I was doing better by helping the child. And in fact, later, speaking to a psychologist, I kind of was beating myself up and say I should have left when my son was 3. And she said, if you had left, then your son would have been alone with him for weeks at a time, and you weren't there. You wouldn't have been there to intervene. So do you think it would have been? She was bringing a perspective to me that had truth to it, because if I had left when my son was 3, we would have shared custody, and he would have been
Abusive.
subject to his father's anger all by himself. And so maybe it was good that I stayed, maybe it was better for my son, but I know that my resistance to the way my ex-husband treated my son escalated the way he treated my son. So resistance is They say what you resist persists, and sometimes what you resist escalates.
Yes. Well, the beauty of it is that you came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of it, you have these books to help children and parents understand about emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And we have mentioned several times about triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to encourage our audience to be aware of the triggers that come into your life that may cause you to react, relate, or respond the way
Mm-hmm.
you do not necessarily want to. But once you become aware of what those triggers are, then you can better understand and begin to change how you relate, react, and respond.
Absolutely. Self-awareness on how you interact with the world is very important.
Absolutely. It is critical.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And we've mentioned several times that 2/3 of adults who have unresolved issues, it stems from their childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to tap into those triggers, for me, it's the name calling, the belittling,
Mm-hmm.
unacceptable. Unacceptable.
And when you are aware of what is triggering, then you can do what's called a form of timeline therapy. So you put yourself in the first time that happened to you as a child. Someone called you a name. You plop the adult you into that time, and you look at the situation with adult eyes. And in so doing, you bring new wisdom to it, different from how your child self thinks about it. When you do that, you actually release those emotional triggers because you have a new perspective, a new way of seeing what happened. I call
Beautiful.
it rewriting your narrative.
Rewriting your narrative.
Yep.
Rewrite your narrative. Now we're giving you some nuggets here of things that you can do to help yourself become more emotionally engaged with yourself.
Yeah.
Understanding those triggers, also understanding and really embracing those things that make you happy.
True, because when you only go for happiness, then you end up with a static level of feeling because you're not willing to experience the depths of pain. You can't go any higher in happiness. When you are willing to experience the depth of pain as well as the height of joy, you have the full range of emotions and have the ability to have the full range of emotional expression.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Can you repeat that? Because I want you to
Well,
repeat it because
I have often with people who talk about the power of positivity, or people who, happiness is the answer. You should just be happy. Well, if you are denying your painful emotions and choosing happiness instead, you are emotionally repressing. And so I don't subscribe to that idea. I say, look, there are times when we're going to be sad, and it's okay to be sad. And there's times when we're going to be angry, and boy, is it okay to be angry. And sometimes we're going to be really joyous, and let's also really express that.
yes. And when those times when you are angry, First of all, tap into that emotion, but
Right.
then feel it, and you may even say something like, I'm really angry right now,
and then you give yourself permission. It's okay for me to be angry about this.
Yes, but I don't have to wallow in it.
Well, there's a difference. It's like, do you jump into the rabbit hole of anger, or do you allow yourself to experience it and let it go? And that's what my tool of focused attention is all about. When you put attention on the emotion and you give yourself permission to feel it, the emotion, being energy, can flow.
Yes.
And the biology of an emotion is 120 seconds in the body.
And
but we've all experienced, we have all experienced emotions that go longer. Now, why is that? Because our minds get stuck in the cycle of the circumstance. He did that to me. I hate this. I don't want to feel this way. We get stuck in the circumstance. And every time our thoughts return to the circumstance, it brings up the emotion. So by doing the process of focused attention, the emotion can leave. But as soon as your mind goes back to the circumstance, it's going to come up again. So you do the process again. It's not a one and done.
It's not a one and done, but it also, you cannot keep reliving those emotions. And, you can't move past it if you keep reliving it.
Right. And those kind of thoughts, I hate this. I don't want to feel this way. He did that to me. This is unfair. Those kind of thoughts prolong the feeling.
Absolutely. And, you may be in a toxic or volatile or emotionally spent relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that, one, this too shall pass, but also that we have control. And I love taking back your power. We don't have to allow our circumstances to define who we are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And when you take responsibility for how you react to something, you are no longer a victim to what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just know, like Angela, I also have experienced trauma.
Yeah.
And abuse.
That's why we do what we do.
Yes, that's what. Speaking of which, what is it that we do? Well, we have a show called Children's Lives Matter. And Angela is the producer and the writer for this show. And go ahead.
And Vera, Jessica, Dixie, and Camille are the hosts of the show. I don't actually appear on the show.
But everything about the show is all about her, because she writes it and we just deliver. And
but you also bring your own wisdom to it. It's not all me. So
yes.
Yeah.
And this is our background. And also I'm going to play a little bit of this show. I've got several things here, so I don't know which one I'm going to play. So I'm just going to play.
My background is a bit different because, I grew up on this beautiful little island of Trinidad and Tobago, and it's a place where diversity wasn't just a concept. It's just our way of life, Vera. From the time we were children, like everything around us was about celebrating people of different ethnicities and religions and backgrounds. It really was never something I had to be taught or It never had to be promoted. It was just simply how we existed. But now, as I've spent more time in the US and in spaces where diversity is more of a goal than a given, what came as second nature to me for others is a learned practice. And although that still amazes me, I see the value of advocating for it. It's not just about representation. It's about creating this world, Vera, where understanding and mutual respect come naturally. And I guess that's a goal, not just for us here, but globally.
Yes. Yes.
I love my team.
Yes. You've got to tune in to Children's Lives Matter on Tuesdays at 2:00 on E360 TV.
Yeah. And next Tuesday, we're doing cell phone addiction, which can be surprising for even the parents, because I took the test that we're going to include a link in the show link, in the show. But I took that test and I'm moderately addicted to my phone.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. I want to take that test and see about it. And you've also received several awards for the work that you're doing. Yeah. And this is the 4 Seasons Book Award. Mm-hmm. You were, in 2023, you were a finalist. Mm-hmm. And you want to tell us about that?
So the 4 Seasons Book Award is given to authors who are trying to do good things in the world. And so I was one of the finalists in their choices. I don't know who the other finalists were, so I can't really speak.
Well,
to
congratulations.
Thank you.
And then you've got the Golden Wizard Book Prize.
That one is my favorite. The Golden Wizard Book Prize is gifted to authors who create magical books. And so I actually have won Golden Wizard for each book in the series. There's 3 of them. I have 3 of those awards.
Oh, congratulations. That is awesome. And then we have World's Most Exemplary Women Leaders in Business 2023.
Wow. Yeah, I got that one. I don't even remember.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And, yes. And then, okay, this was the summer edition.
Yep.
Awesome. This is wonderful.
4 seasons, so they have 1 each season.
Wow. And you won 2 seasons out of the 4.
2 out of 4. Yeah.
That's congratulations. That is amazing. And there's some more things that are going to be coming up that I'm really excited about that we can't talk about right this second.
That's true.
I'm excited. Yes. We've got some new things coming up, and I'm so excited about that. And I'm going to play another clip from our show just to encourage people to please, check it out. So let me see.
And I can drop the link in the comments.
Yes, do that, please. And you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to play your commercial again.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to do.
Thank you.
Louise Janes, CEO of the Golden Wizard Book Prize, says, "The Bella Santini Chronicles are life-changing masterpieces. They will empower children and allow them to understand themselves and the world in new ways. I strongly encourage all parents to get the Bella Santini Chronicles." Discover the transformative power of the Bella Santini Chronicles for your family. This enchanting series is more than just a collection of fantasy stories. It's a gateway to deep, meaningful connections and life-changing lessons. As you journey together through Bella's adventures, you'll unlock conversations about courage, emotional intelligence, and self-discovery. Create unforgettable memories and inspire personal growth for every member of the family. Don't miss out on this magical experience.
Bella Santini. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I bought your books for my grandchildren for Christmas.
Aw.
And so I need to find out if they're reading them and doing what they're supposed to be doing with it. Now, I'm going to play another one of our shows.
How important do you think it is for that self-love and acceptance for all people in general?
On a scale of 1 to 100, it's 100. It's extremely important. Whatever children are exposed to in terms of how they feel about themselves, that correlates and translates and that is processed when they become adults. So now they're adults that are in the world, and then if they're not grounded when it comes to loving themselves and appreciating differences of others, then I think that's why we have so many problems in this world, so many issues.
Yeah.
That's really important to me, to start them as children so that they can grow up into whom, the responsible adult that we all need to be.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's what you do, Vera, with instilling greatness.
Yes. I love the fact that we can showcase what we do through your show and make a difference in people's lives. And I'm going to give you the floor and let you say some final words as I cough. Okay, so let me give you the floor.
So, in closing, know that you matter. You are a beautiful creation of God, and you are here in the world to learn about yourself. Self-awareness is huge. Self-love is a must, because no one who loves themselves is going to lash out at someone else. Self-love is one of the biggest gifts we can give our children. And if you need help with that, I have a self-love journal on Amazon. You can download. It's not about me. It's about you. It's putting down on paper the wonderful things you've done, the wonderful thoughts you have, and following the prompts and making that journal as a masterpiece of who you truly are. Oh, Vera, you're still muted.
Love it. I love this book cover. I love it. And it's a 90-day journey into self-love. And let me tell you, there is nothing like self-love. You gotta love yourself. Yep. Self-love is so important. Well, Angela,
you can't love someone else if you don't love yourself.
No, you can't. You cannot. So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, my friend.
Again, you want to check out Bella Santini, and let me pull up these books one more time. You've got Bella Santini, and then you got She Becomes a Fairy, and then she's trolled.
And actually, it's so first she's Bella the human, and then she's in the troll war.
Okay.
And then she becomes a fairy.
Yeah.
So by the end of book 2, we realize that she is actually a fairy, not a human.
Oh, wow. And I know that you're working on a 4th book.
The 4th book is done.
Oh, is it done?
It's done. Yeah. So that one, perhaps by June, there's always things that have to get into place before you can release.
Yes. Well, then you'll have to come back and talk about that book, because I know it's something special about that book.
Yeah. In that book, Bella is pushed through a portal and ends up back on Earth 2 years before she left Earth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I will be bringing you back. I want to thank you for being here. And I just want to say to our audience, you have a wonderful weekend and just love on each other. We've got to show love. We've got to show love. But if you're concerned about being able to show love, then how are you feeling about yourself? Do you love yourself?
Right.
So love is the key. Love is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, thank you again. And if you'll hold on, we'll be right back. So with that, we'll say good night.
Good night.
The Vera Chime Show.